I use a spoon to wipe my own bum, so anything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. None of this is financial advice. I'm wearing a helicopter hat. I'm not selling my crypto. I'm not selling my crypto because of the AI war that is the #1 war in the world right now. The real war, friends, it is America versus China. It is AI. Artificial intelligence. They are battling each other. It is exponential. Do you know what exponential means? It means if you want to pause for 3 years, that might translate to an enormous gap and you can't catch up anymore. Okay? The real war is the artificial intelligence war. USA, China. Do not sell your crypto. Do not sell to boy. So, of course, friends, stocks are high. You know, they always talk about the price to earnings ratio, etc. They say, oh, stocks are high. It's just like 1999. Yeah, they're high, but they can always go higher. Why? Back in 1999, when we had the tech bubble, all the companies there were theoretical. You had Cisco, you had a lot of other tech companies. They had not actually developed all the products yet to have all the customers. But now, the companies on top of the NASDAQ, Netflix, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, they actually do have the customers. Okay, so it's not the same. So you're looking at valuations, but the companies are different. Okay, so stocks are high, but the US government can't let it pop yet. I hate talking like that. I don't like talking like that. That's retailer Cope talk when they're like, no, they can't let it go down. They can't let it go down. Of course they can. But the stakes really are high, friends. If America wants to slow down this stock bubble, China is going to take an enormous lead. All right, let me show you. This is the NASDAQ, okay? If they really want to tighten things up and they make America kind of slow down, friends, you got to remember, China, they don't play by the same rules as America. With China, it's communism, right? So the Chinese government are like, you know what? We've got 1 billion people here. You're all going to suffer for 5 years because we have to win in the long term, and I don't give a shit how much you just cry. It's different. America doesn't work like that. With America, there's a lot of like fighting and politics and people going back and forth. Democracy, even though it's kind of like not really democracy, but it's a different game, okay? And when the stakes are this high, it gets really, really dirty, okay? China knows it. America knows it. It's an AI war, okay? It's the war with chips. That's why Nvidia is at 5 trillion market cap, okay? Friends, Nvidia have got their warehouses booked for 5 years, yeah? So if you want to call up Jensen and you go, hey, my wife wants you to sign her boobies, Mr. Jensen. 5 years waiting. 5 years fully booked out. Okay? Think about it. Those AI chips, you got to remember, friends, when we talk about AI, it's going in every robot. Yeah? The neural network's going in every robot to do literally every job that humans do. Driving trucks, making sandwiches, massaging you, foot massage, elbow massage, fixing your squeaky chair because it loses its squeak. Everything's going to need the chips. Literally everything. What does every country do now? We import a lot of Indian dudes because they do the jobs that no one wants to do, but it's inflationary. Okay? That's why houses are high. So we're all betting that AI is going to fix that problem over time. So in 10 years from now, friends, Reddit mods, they will be fornicating with a robot. Is it going to be a robot made in China or USA? Okay? If you're a Reddit mod, you're going to be with one of them. So China and America, that's the war. Okay? Lonely men die early. So friends, whichever country slows down their growth now, it's game over. It's literally game over. I mean, you're going exponential. Yeah, this thing is not linear. If you want to press pause on your economy right now, you're finished. Okay. If America presses pause, good luck. China wins. If China presses pause, okay, America's finished. Finish them. So whichever country slows down their growth, the other will take over. The faster AI grows, the less immigration your country needs. So that is the #1 thing right now, friends. So in a normal normal economy, what used to happen is everyone has babies, you grow, you have a lot of kids, N goes up, so of an economy, your population growth kind of makes up and fuels everything. However, with humans, what we've known is as a country becomes more rich, okay, and they live longer, and you get more dopamine from many places, you have less babies, okay? You just have less kids. There's many reasons for it, because, friends, fornicating gives you something like, I think, 200 units of dopamine, yeah? But taking a hit of some meth, it's about 2,000, okay? So, and chocolate's like 100. So once you start to see everything on the scale, there's a lot of different ways to get dopamine rather than just fornicating with someone. Okay, and that seems to be what's happening over time. And people have enough money, they just basically look after themselves, leisure. This happens in Japan, happens in every single first world country. That's why every government immigrates people, okay? That's why a lot of the people in the middle class, everyone keeps protesting. They're like, no more immigrants, no more immigrants. Go look at what happened with Canada, friends. With Canada, there was this short period where they had a lot of immigrants, couple of Indian dudes started running around, jumping on all the cars, and they stopped the immigration because it got too bad. Within 90 days, their property market started collapsing. Okay? Now, remember you're in crypto, you're like, oh, it's okay. What's a 20% drop in property? No. Everybody in real estate is leveraged 10x. So a 10% drop wipes everyone out. Yeah, you put a 5 or 10% deposit, exactly. So everyone's caught. So we're hoping AI agents, and robotics and quantum fill in the gap over the next 5 to 10 years. The faster AI grows, the less immigration your country needs. When you have 1 million AI agents roaming free, you do not need to import 47 million Indian dudes anymore. Okay, that's the future. Okay, that's what all the governments are betting on. Okay, and then those AI agents, they are deflationary, which means they can print more. Okay. This slows down the parabolic house price growth too and acts as a deflationary force. That deflationary force allows them to print more currency and give you that CBDC digital dollar handout. Some people call it that like UBI, where, just pay people to kind of live. There is that, you know what I mean? That doesn't really matter how you spin it because it's going to be the same thing, friends. The central bank and there's insiders, they control everything and then they just hand out peanuts to the people. It's the same stuff, okay? So all of these are moving at exponential speeds, all right? The AI race is the most ultimate battle right now. And this is why, crypto friends, why it's not dying from here. Okay, we are an extension of technology. Yes, we closely track the PMI. Unfortunately, we are the most sensitive to the PMI, but it's for a good reason. You know what I mean? We have the most upside. So it's there's a double-edged sword, right? Like, yeah, it sucks we go down 80 to 90% when the PMI goes down, but also, you get like a 10, 20, or 30 times multiplier when PMI is like really, really high, yeah? So that's the price we pay. Is it worth it? Yeah, if it works out. It won't last forever, but you already saw retail line up to buy gold at the top. Maybe we'll get a cosmic signal for crypto too. So I think this is the Freemason ring, the G gay club out here. It's just as a cute reminder, friends, just to let you know, all of these, they're all a bunch of BS Fugazi narratives, okay? Because all of these lead to the same thing. They've got the money printer. They press the button. They make more currency units, okay? They have ultimate say, okay? And you and I are just caught in between. What do we do? Well, you're trying to predict as much as you can what the next move is, all right? That's why, when you see retail lining up to go buy the top of gold, it's kind of like a nice, clean, pure signal that something's wrong with this picture. I'm kind of hoping that one day we see the exact same thing in our bags out here, friends. I mean, like when you literally see hundreds of thousands of people come out to buy the top of gold, they're not all getting rich, okay? That's why I have my exotic top signals, Coinbase App Store ranking #1, $1 billion ICO raise, maybe the government does ban Congress from actually buying stocks, yada, yada, yada. There's a few of these key signals that we're looking for. They're not here yet, and the AI race is still on. So when I see the total crypto market cap at 3.5 trillion, it's racist, okay? Remember, this world's coming. It's coming faster and faster. They can't press pause yet. You know. You also got to remember, friends. Markets, they price in the future. Yeah. When they price in the future too much, that's when things get a bit spicy, because they need a perfect future to play out without any cracks in the system. We haven't priced in the future. Okay. Nvidia's chips, that's hardware, man. That's not speculation at all, dude. They're booked out for 5 years. Okay. You can't even argue with that. You know what I mean? It's not dangerous. Okay. We have not seen like a speculative retail product come out where we can start to argue about whether or not they're even going to be popular in 5 years. Okay. No one's brought anything of that nature out, you know. I'll just give you one example. Let's say someone does make a real robot next year for 50 grand, you know. Let's say it's an amazing robot. You know, then we can argue and go, you know, maybe this company that made that first robot, maybe they're worth like, you know, maybe a lot of money, like $1 trillion market cap. And then maybe I say, you really think everyone in the world is not going to try to make a better robot for cheaper over the next 10 years? I want to be having that conversation. That's top signal stuff. Remember, friends, I made videos for you on railway mania, stock market bubbles. I checked this out for the past 150 years. Everybody always makes the same mistake at the tops. And they always underestimate competition. They always find something and they go, this is it. Nothing's going to come close. I found the answer. And they're always wrong. Okay. But we're not even there yet. Okay? There's nothing out here that's making us go, oh, this is the one thing, right? So who do we look to? It's not so easy, is it? Well, I haven't made a joke here, right? So if Bitcoin goes down to 60K, then KOLs are going to say, I told you it was a bear market. You should buy my services. On the contrary, if Bitcoin goes up to 140K, all those KOLs will say, see, I told you it was a bull market. I told you, buy my services. So what do? Okay, you can't wait for them. That's the whole answer. The whole answer is you can't wait. The answer I'm using, remember, friends, it's not financial advice. It's just, for me, I see the AI war. I see the AI race. I know they have to print money. $10 trillion of US debt has to get rolled over next year. Okay, how do they roll over a debt, friends? Okay, it's very simple. They print money, they fund another credit card, and they use that credit card to go pay off the other debt. Yeah, it does sound stupid, but that's exactly how the system works. That gives us a stimulatory PMI boost, and then we can kick the can down the road for another 4 years. And one of these 4-year cycles, eventually we're going to make the AI robots, and they might be able to replace everyone, okay? But we're not there yet, all right? That's what I'm betting on. So this, friends, what I'm showing you, remember, who's the richest? Who makes the most money in investments? The long-term dudes. Okay. If the long-term dudes make the most money, then what's the most valuable resource? A long-term indicator. It's exactly what I've given you. Yeah. It's exactly what I've given you. Not this some shitty little RSI divergence. Oh, there's a divergence in the Bitcoin and I'm using the price action from 4 years ago. Go stuff yourself, dude. No one cares. Okay? That's not who wins. Okay? Price versus value. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. I don't care about your shitty little RSI divergences here, bro. Move along. I care about what's the future looking like. I don't know what it looks like, but I can just show you, go, hey, what I'm sniffing is AI, chipsets, AI agents, robotics, America versus China. Big debt has to get rolled over. Okay? They have to print money. They're also looking for ways of how they can get rid of this issue where they have to keep immigrating people because the inflation's staying hot. All right? So I've given you the highest value content in crypto. It sounds obvious, right? But it's not so obvious. I mean, like, look at this, friends. 1 year ago, Hock Tour Girl launched Hock Coin. It went to 500 million market cap. 97% of the supply was sniped and dumped. Today, she's doing streams and only having 9 users watching. Haley Welch, okay? not everyone's minds are focusing on what I'm focusing on as well. That's most of the market, friends. Most of the market is looking for, oh, I want to buy a new JPEG coin. I want to front on my friends. Then I want to dump on them and I want to leave. Okay. Good luck, because everyone's trying to play that game. Also, got a nice question from Mr. Dora. How does she have the money to not work and have a nice setup? I thought the funds were all lost. So let me teach you something about life, okay? Every girl's got a belly button and a mouth, okay? You just don't know how these people are funding themselves. They're not going to come out and tell you, all right? So ultimately, you got to think, right? Most people are thinking short term like this, right? They're the ones who get cheated out. They're the ones who are watching someone say, oh my gosh, it's a 4-year cycle. Let me go and click sell. Okay, they could be right. They could be right. But if we do make it, you'll be remembering videos like this, where you're like, oh, of course the cycle was going to continue. Why would America blow themselves up just as China's exponentially increasing their battle for AI? You know, but you only know this in hindsight. And not everyone is looking at the same stuff we are, friends. Look at this dude, Mikey Sullivan. I hate to be the one to tell you this. It's done. The bull market is over. For everyone who sold their Bitcoin. If you're still holding through, congrats. You deserve what's to come. So we're seeing very, very, very common posts like this everywhere. You know, interesting. The monthly candle we had in October, that big giant wick, it's such a perfect representation of how everybody in the market feels. And, you know, friends, you never know the future. Remember, I'm going to always give you that example, man. Like, you're walking through a park, there's a lot of bums, and everyone wants to play heads or tails with you, yeah? You can't control the coin. Yeah, you don't know. Heads or tails, you have no edge. But what you can do is you find the games where heads, you win $10, tails, you lose $1. Okay, you're trying to look for games like that. Okay, that's all we're trying to do. So, on the balance of probabilities, remember, there's probabilities, man. We're in a one-of-one situation. Do you think World Reserve Power America is gonna stop their economy to maybe get inflation down and risk China accelerating their AI GPU units and potentially overtaking them in the next 3 years? You know, what would you do if you were in charge? You wouldn't do that. No way. You'd do the alternative. What's the alternative? Just lie about the numbers. That's what they're doing. They're just gaslight everyone. Just change the numbers. They're literally just lying. I mean, they're printing 8% per year. The Kippy says 3. And they're full of shit already. That's what you do. Yeah. Because how are you going to go out to the public? Do you understand? How are you going to talk to 400 million people? Do you know half of the population has an IQ below 100? They don't understand what the hell you're talking about. And mine's negative, right? You have no idea. How do you speak to the guy with 130 IQ and then 70 IQ? Okay, they just don't get it. So what's the best option? They just lie. Government's just always lying. Yeah? Remember, they print the currency. They pay the journalists, they pay the media, they pay the economists, they pay the doctors, they pay everybody to go out and tell you everything is fine. And in the background, what are they doing? They're working on getting a bigger, more powerful lead on AI and the race. Okay? But it's not going to go on forever, is it? No. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Like, subscribe, Billy Button, or catch you soon.